with Big Ol' Boys. We got Big Ol' Nick here, and my co-host.
Blake Everett, keeping it real, keeping it live.
Yeah, let's go. So this is our special episode that you're getting on Friday. From releasing on Mondays to releasing on Fridays now. So we're making this. We've been pretty busy with this. We had, our recording on Saturday, then release on Monday, and then recording this, got to release on Friday, then we got to record like right after that. It's just we're pretty busy.
We're crammed with stuff to do. I mean, you just picked up a new job.
Yeah.
I'm baking bread.
Mm-hmm.
It's been crazy.
It's, yeah. Cool. You still working at your job though, right?
Yeah, but I didn't work today because it rained. So, I mean, it's good. I was able to stay at home, pick up my kicks, my shoes, be unproductive, not get paid for it.
Okay, I got a question. He did show me my shoes, and this is not the plane I was going with, but now they just popped in my head. Okay. If you could wear, if your shoes never got dirty at all, right? Never got dirty.
Oh,
Would you rather wear like clean all white shoes, or would you rather wear like all black?
all white shoes. I mean,
Would
that's
all
just,
white be over anything else, even with like colored, like whatever color scheme?
well, I mean, it would depend on the shoe. Like, I mean, even a light gray, like that would be like the McFlys. You know what I
Mm,
mean? The Back to the Futures.
yeah,
Those would be. I mean,
because it's like it's hard wearing white shoes. Because I got like white basketball shoes, and I don't even want to wear them in the basketball court sometimes. 'Cause I'm like, I don't want to get them dirty. I love them. I love them.
yeah. I actually I actually recently bought 3 pairs of white shoes. So
Don't get them dirty. Don't get them dirty. Because once you
yeah,
get them dirty, it's just sad. Just looking at them.
it's so sad. But I mean, you can get them clean and stuff if you have like a magic marker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Mr. Clean brush with bleach, with the one with bleach, dude.
Okay.
Dude, it
Does
it
it
goes
work?
it goes hard.
It's hard. It goes, okay.
Hard.
Okay. 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 You said you told me before this you bought 5 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, we can go through them if you want.
Let me hear how much in total did you spend? What's the max you would spend on a shoe?
The max I would spend on a shoe. I don't like spending money on shoes, but I just haven't bought shoes in a long time. So anyway, I spent about $550 on shoes.
Okay.
So I mean, you know, I could have
But you
bought one really cool pair of shoes, but I bought 5 pretty cool pairs of shoes.
I mean you can still get pretty good shoes for like, 150, 120.
Yeah, you absolutely can. I got here.
And they're
Here, let me show
expensive.
you.
That's the thing. Is like it's hard, but like it's definitely I understand why. Ooh. And you got
Oh,
those all clean. So he has like an all white shoe for anyone that can't
yeah,
see.
but
These are like
it looks
it's
clean.
clean, clean.
It is clean. And then I got you're gonna have to cut that in between so that we don't have
An
all
awkward sound.
stuff.
I might just keep that just out of pure. Ooh, those are different. So he has it's like the white shoe, and then he has like the Nike swoosh, and then there's the air is in between. I don't know how you describe it. How would you describe that?
I just wouldn't even attempt to. But if you're listening, then you can go and you can look it up online, and it's called the Nike Air Barrage Low. And gotta tell you,
They're
I'm gonna
clean.
be like low key a hype beast
I,
next.
I'm
I'm gonna be
flexing.
dripping
You're
hype.
flexing on a bunch of nerds with your basketball, or not your basketball shoe, but just your nice shoes.
My
Oh, I like those a ton.
yeah, yeah. Look at
Okay,
that.
so were you happy with all your purchase?
Um, so half of them haven't come in yet because they're really they're they're really stressed right now with shipping and all that because of the pandemic. I mean, it does make sense. So it's taking like probably twice as long as it normally would to get shoes or anything shipped. But with that being said, my first pair of shoes just came in, and I'm really, really excited about them. They look great, and it's gonna be some mad drip all summer.
Okay, I see you. I see you. I mean, if you look good, you
You
get
feel
paid good. Feel
Ooh,
good. Feel good. Get paid. Wait.
you feel good, you look good. No, you
Feel
look good.
good. Look good. Look good. Pay good.
Yeah.
It's look good. Wait. Look good. Feel
No,
good.
that's
Feel
tongue
good. Play
twister.
good. Play good. Get paid good.
We're not even gonna try and attempt it.
I heard some guy, I guess, made one because like that's like the Deion Sanders saying or whatever, but like he went on for like another 5 minutes of just like this like rhyme scheme, and I wish I remembered it all. But like, huh?
Freestyle?
It it might have been, but like my guy, he was just going off for like the 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, it was a long time, and it was pretty impressive. I won't say what I know because, to be honest, it's a little bit inappropriate. But
Nick. Inappropriate.
I would never, um, never have I said anything on this podcast that was wrong.
I don't know
That we had to
real
literally.
choppy. That first one was real choppy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You bought. I get a feeling you've bought a lot of stuff online and all that mumbo jumbo. What is like the best purchase you made and the worst purchase you made?
Oof. The best slash worst purchase of the collective. Um, Mixed in, actually, I bought 6 pairs of shoes. So mixed in with that, I bought a really cheap pair of shoes, but those are just like my dirty shoes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I do stuff, and I'm like, I know like a pair of shoes has to be sacrificed, and typically it's like an old pair of shoes. But I bought these shoes for $30, so you do the math, and they were Nike. So I mean, they don't look bad. They're just like a pair of running shoes. Um, but I mean, they definitely look the worst. But to me, it was a good purchase. So
Yeah, that
no
makes
hate, no hate. But they're definitely not as good as I don't know, like the Metal Maxes that I showed you that you really liked. Those were so fire. Oh,
those are clean.
I have no idea what I'm gonna wear them with though. I don't know. Half my closet is just like black shorts,
Just shoes.
just shoes, nothing else. Emperor's new what was that story? The Emperor's New Cloak.
Oh gosh.
It was like a children's book. It was adapted from like some Chinese folklore.
Oh boy. Yeah. You're just gonna be walking in the class with just your clean shoes though.
Oh,
Everyone's like shocked. You're like, what? You like my shoes?
absolutely.
I think like most of the shoes that I've bought, like we've always gone like with my cousin, and it's always those 2-for-1 deals of like I'll get one shoe, it's pretty good, and then I'll get like another one half off. So like that's how I've sort of functioned shoe wise for like the last 10 years of my life. So I've always had 2 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was too. Actually, my mom was, pretty. She was penny pinching. She would. We don't need to spend money on shoes, but now that I'm spending my own money on shoes, I get to decide what I want to spend my money on. You know what I mean? Like shoes.
I feel that. I bet you can get pretty decent shoes. Like you don't have to spend like 100. I'm not calling you out, but like you don't have to
Yeah.
spend
You
a
don't
hundred.
have to spend half a G on shoes.
And let me tell you, back then I did not care anything about what I looked like or what I wore. So
I still don't. I
I was
still
that.
don't. Man, you
I,
gotta.
no, I was that guy that wore the red and orange together. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I know that. I know that kid. I know that kid. I used to back in like 6th grade, I used to think I was like probably the coolest kid because I would like go to like the mall or something and I'd pick up like this whole outfit. And when I got done shopping, I would look like a highlighter. You know what I mean? Like the bright yellow shorts and shirt and socks, like down in the socks. It was,
Well, did you have like what they call elites? Is that what they were called? The
yeah,
Nike socks?
yeah. Heck yeah, I got elites, man. $14 for some socks, man.
Of course, I never got into that just because I always felt like I looked stupid wandering around like with those on, and I don't know, I just never liked it. But did you have like just the straight like black and white ones, or like the white and black ones, and did you go like
I
did you go
had
ambitious?
I had black and white ones. I had the white and black ones. I had the blue and white ones. I had pink and black. And then I had yellow and black. So, I mean, I shopped around. I had a lot. Um, I don't know. I only had pink and black because I played football and we would do the breast cancer awareness football games and we all go pink. I don't know. It was cool. And I got to keep the socks. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
My brother used to have like lime green and black ones, but like it wasn't Nike, so it was another company. But like
Mhm.
where we were, that was fine. So like it was just lime green, but he sort of had like proportionally the socks are like a little bit larger, so it was just like his whole quad was just like a lime green.
Oh yeah, no, you had to stretch them out all the way. You had to stretch them out. You had to show off. They're
Gotta
fourteen
flex on
dollars
them.
socks.
Gotta flex on them, man. The brighter you were, like the more like the cooler you felt. That's just how it was. And then you had also those clothes with like the lime green. So you were just lime green and black all of middle school and high school. That was a good chunk of my clothing, at least. Now it's just pretty much black, but you know, real exciting.
hmm But for you, that was about as far as it went.
I didn't go for the long socks at all. I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it. I mean, I was also the guy in 7th grade who wore like the jean shorts. So
Shorts. I actually bought me a pair of jorts, and they
oh,
they don't fit me anymore though. So that's sad.
dude, you need the jorts with the shoes. That's a clean look right there.
Oh yeah, those shoes that I showed you. That would actually go. It's a real summer
You
vibe.
would match in middle school.
No, it's a real summer vibe. But now that you're in college and stuff like that, how has this changed?
Why?
Your overall outlook on spending money on expensive things.
Um, Honestly, it's not any better. Like I understand I guess it's like a quantity versus quality type of thing debate here. But usually if it's food, it's pretty cheap, and like there's nothing I'm willing to spend a ton of money on if it's food wise. But I think for expensive, like if I'm gonna buy something online that like I'm gonna use, I'm gonna pay extra money for. Also, good pens. That's what I want. If you're gonna spend good pens,
Yeah,
get
absolutely, absolutely. Um, it was just like back to school shopping, and you'd lose all your pens that you bought in the beginning of the year, or if you were lucky, you'd be able to pick some up class to class. And it was just kind of like a free library of pens. Someone would leave their pen, and you'd leave your pen. So I mean, you just kind of fed this
each other.
yeah. So I don't know. You get better pens out of the deal, or sometimes you got like worse pens out of the deal. But
You
it
got those.
definitely kept you with the writing utensil, I guess.
You got those like VIC pens.
Oh yeah. Those pens.
Those are the worst. No, I feel like the only way I got pens was I would look over and I'd be like, "Yo, I don't have any pens. Can you give me one?" And I just would never give it to them. So like,
You were no, you didn't. No,
I was
it was
definitely that
you.
guy. I was
Oh
definitely.
my gosh. You were the kid who tried to hold on to your pens as long as you possibly could.
Yes, that's true. So sometimes I would go like a week and I'd be like, "Yo, you want your pen back?" And they're like, "Nah, you keep it."
Oh my gosh.
Man, I used that system and I survived, but people aren't willing to give up pencils.
Hmm.
And if you do, you always get a crappy pencil. You always get that like pencil with no eraser, or the pencil with like the rock hard eraser. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
no, they'll like dig in their bag and they'll look for like the worst one to give you. Like, no,
And so
no.
like or like the pencils won't have any like tip, so like you're having to like write in this like perfect straight line, like solid, and you can't do any like angles, so it's just awkward. Your handwriting's weird.
Just everything's out of wampus.
Yeah. Did you ever do like whenever you had the pens? Did you ever lick it to like? Because I had a lot of dry pens, especially after like over the years. I would reuse pens, and pens would get dry in the tips, so like you reactivate them by like shaking them or like licking the tips. Did you ever like lick the tips of pens?
No, no, I never did any of that. I thought that the kids who did that would actually get like cancer or something like that. I was like, you can't eat ink. Like you can't do that. You can't. And so I was just like roasting those. I made fun of those kids who licked them. But you know what I did do? I did happen to disassemble, like reverse engineer the
Oh
pen.
gosh,
Yeah. Yeah, that was me. That was me.
with the G2 pins, and then you made the gun. Did you ever make a
No, it
gun?
didn't. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what kind of pin it was. I disassembled any and all of them. And actually, yeah, I did. I did shoot a couple of them. But the thing is, whenever you would shoot them, part of the pin would like fly off. It was a
The
really
spring,
small.
the stupid spring.
Yeah, and so it's really hard to find them. And so whenever you did that, you'd have to sacrifice it, and then yeah, like you'd pretty much have to sacrifice the pin. So you could only do that in like really funny situations, like something that it really had to be worth it. And I think that a lot of times it wasn't when I did it. Just
Yeah.
sacrificed a pin for nothing.
So like the G2 pins, the ones that like you could make the guns out of, and like
Hmm.
you would really easily unassemble, deconstruct, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Deconstruct.
then
Yeah.
did you ever like mix and match them? So you had like five
Oh
different
yeah,
colors, and then
yeah, absolutely. Do a little transformer thing. Absolutely. I don't know. And they have the grips on those pins too. So
Mm,
I would remove like a black one and put it on a green one, take the green one and put it on a purple one, and the purple one on a yellow one. And so I just had this weird colorway going on with all my pins. And then some kid would ask for a pin, I'd give him one, and then he'd take it and never give it back, and he just ruined my colorway. And now I'd have like no way of ever like switching them back. So I was just stuck with it.
yep, that's how it be. It do be
It,
like
it,
that.
it came full circle. Those pens were something something to protect.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'll tell you what though, that now in college though, I don't lose pens.
I don't either. I don't
I don't
either.
lose pens. I don't know what it was,
I think
but
I've lost like one here, like here and there, but like nowhere near the frequency I did.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would probably lose one or two a day.
Mhm.
Now it's one a month, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. I don't know why. I think it's maybe because I'm not like I really don't know why, to be honest.
I mean, I don't want to call myself stupid in the past, but I mean, maybe that was it. Maybe I was just stupid. I don't know.
I, Maybe I don't know what like is
How
has
much growth between senior year and the beginning of freshman year? I mean, they really just can't
yeah.
from high school to college. It can't be that much.
Well, I don't know. Like I guess for me when I was in middle school and high school is I used to put pins in like the pocket where you're supposed to put water bottles because I was too lazy to open up my bag and put them in there, right? So I
Mhm.
guess that's why I lost a ton. It's like I would throw my backpack on the ground and one would fly off or something like that. But like, I don't, I don't know of what else would have caused it, to be honest.
You know what? There's less of a frequency for class meetings. You know what I mean? Like you'd go to class every single day, and you'd have, I mean, 4 if you did the block classes, but then you'd have 8 if you had the periods. So it depended on where you went to school, but I mean, honestly, you had a lot of classes every single day, and now I might have 2 to 3 classes every day. I mean, that changed a whole lot.
That's true. That's true. You probably have to also keep maybe more aware of what you have in college because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't lose this type of thing. In like middle school, high school, you just say, I have a book. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess that's weird conversations here. We're talking about 10 minutes talking about a pen.
I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I like
Did you
talking.
have did you have that one pen though that like you had? Like you might have lost everything else, but you had that one pen for
I
like a
still
year.
have that one pen. I
Really?
still have that one pen. Yeah, absolutely.
I still
I,
have that
I
one pen as well.
what would happen was whenever the school year would end, I would take all the pens and pencils that I'd have and I just put them in my room. And then I'd start off. My mom would buy me, pens again. And then they would go through the cycle of, swapping hands and stuff like that. And whatever pens I had at the end of the year, I just go home and put them in my pencil pouch at home, I guess. Actually, I put them in a cup. Put them in a cup. A little mug.
Yeah.
Dignified. A
Like,
dignified pen.
I think there was this at my youth at my church. They had like a bunch of pens left over, so I grabbed like 30 pens.
30 pens.
I just took a handful and took them back with me. But like they were like those cheap pens, just the cap type of thing, but they just put their logo on it. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I lost those pretty quickly. Like
Oh.
within a year, I lost 30 pens because like I had a ton, so I just lost them. And I would like, oh, I have this, and I would pretty much like throw it away. And if like it stopped working, yeah, throw it away. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Liking a pen tip only does so much.
It really does. You know what kind of pen that I valued so much as a child and I still value today?
What?
Those multi-ink pens. Those
God,
thick pens where you can
yes.
switch up the color. Oh my god.
That was the biggest flex in middle school.
You know what I tried to do every single time that I had one of those pens? I
All
would try and do 2 colors at once. I'd try to done 2 colors at once, and I'd end up getting them stuck. And you had to press down a third to get them unstuck.
yes, I remember that. Those pens were something else. Like if you had that, you were the guy. No
You were
one could touch you.
absolutely the guy. No one could touch you. No one wanted to touch you.
No one would give away that pen either. As someone who took others' pens and pencils,
and then would hog them.
and then go on to lose them.
Regardless of handing them out.
Did you use mechanicals or did you use like just the normal pencils? Because I felt like I don't know. Are you a mechanical pencil or a regular pencil type of person?
I am a mechanical pencil person now, but I was a vintage pencil user earlier in my life.
Ooh, I don't.
I think that for me, it's just convenient. Like, because you can't really find pencil sharpeners around campus too easily, like you
That's
could when you're in. And so it's just like, I don't have to even get up to, exchange, like you don't even have to sharpen it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely like an appeal there.
It's For everyone wondering, Blake is cutting bread right now.
Oh. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Look at that.
He's got a loaf.
Look at the air pockets in there.
That sounds sourdough, is it?
No, absolutely not.
Dude, sourdough's good though.
Oh, I love sourdough. I used to not like sourdough, and then I went to Arkansas on a canoe trip, and actually for 1 week, what they did was there was this really cool bakery there, and they baked only sourdough bread. And so what happened was they took that bread while we were on the canoe trip. They would supplement our food supply with that bread.
Okay.
And it was actually probably one of my favorite things about the trip.
Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Oh, it was a good thing.
Okay.
I mean, the trip was like all around amazing.
Okay, but like the bread was just that good.
The bread was that good.
Though you were also, if you're like on a trip, and I'm assuming like a scouting trip, or was it just like,
Yeah, it was a scouting trip.
so you're definitely hungry.
I was really hungry, and you know how it is on scouting trips. It's first come, first served.
Holy crap, yes. And we never, okay, was this like an adventure camp or was this like just a standard?
So it was a summer camp, but it was an activity for everyone who was it was like a venture thing inside of that summer camp.
It was just like, but did you do like the normal track? So like there's a different, like just explaining it to like the audience. The normal track is usually just like you're going for like merit benches or like rank requirements. And then adventure, I think you can go for that or like you can count off stuff, but you're mostly just going for like the experience of like rock climbing, canoeing, or hiking or whatever.
Yeah, so it was through the venture crew. So it was adventure. And it was so much fun. That bread was so good. This bread was so good too. And for those of you who didn't catch that in the first episode, it's what I bake is rosemary olive oil bread.
Are you still baking that?
I'm still baking it. I can't get over it. I like a nice little flavor crunch. But it does remind me of that sourdough bread.
Interesting. Okay.
I think I'm gonna attempt sourdough.
You can start making those like kits. You know what I'm talking about? Like you just keep on remaking them. We used to do that. We used to make like sourdough pizza. Super
cool. Did you ever go on any high adventure camps?
I did not go. Actually, that's a lie. I did go on one. I went to Georgia. 4 or 5 years ago, I guess. That was a fun one. That was an interesting camp. But like we went on what is it called? Whitewater rafting. There we go. That was my first time doing it. But it was sort of like in the city. It's weird because like it was literally in the middle of a city.
What city?
It's a town. It was a town, I guess, in Georgia. And there was a river that flew like it just went right through it, right? But so you start in there, and like a dam is right behind you.
Yeah,
just like gushing out water.
That was just like mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But like you're going down the city, and you can see like high rises or like 5 or 6 story buildings, like to your left and to your right, and it's just concrete all around you. But like you're still whitewater rafting, so it's sort of weird, I guess. But that was interesting because my boat flipped. So
in the middle of a raft in the rapids.
In the rapids, yeah, we went to the rapids, and it was sort of like at the end, and all of a sudden there was one of the rafts was right in front of us, and it just like instantly goes from flat to like a 90 degrees. So it was horizontal to vertical in a matter of like 2 seconds, and you just see everyone instantly just fall out all at once, and then we ram right into them. So, and we flew up, and like that whole moment, if you've ever like fallen off during like the rapids or whatnot, that's a scary experience.
It's very scary. Did you have to have a helmet on, or were you completely unprepared?
I had a helmet on and like the vest on, of course, because I think you have to have that. But like, I'm pretty sure for like a half a second I got stuck, and I was like freaking out. So then I just instantly did like what they tell you to do with like the ball, you know what I'm saying? And then you just start rolling. But I mean, after that, I was freaking out because like I felt like this weird like pushing on my chest, and I was like, holy crap, I'm dying. A rock hit me. I'm gonna die. But I mean, of course, it was nothing. I'm still here. But yeah. Did you ever do whitewater rafting?
I did when I lived in Virginia. That's what I did. It because we were just it was living in Virginia was actually really cool because you're not that far from the beach and the Appalachian Mountains are right there and you have great whitewater rafting. Like it's pretty good for people who are outdoorsy. There's always things to do. Um, and so my troop there was pretty active. We did a
Mm.
lot of hiking things, like you just do like a 20-mile trail
Okay.
and like the Appalachian, like just a little part of it. I mean, that's just like a little smidget of the Appalachian Trail. But I don't know. It was incredible. We went on one whitewater rafting trip with them, um, and it was pretty fun when I was a kid. But I think that we didn't do anything higher than like a level two. So I mean, it was pretty like looking back on it. Like if I were to do the same trip now, I'd probably be pretty bored with it.
Mm.
So I don't know. Definitely now. I've done threes. And those are about those are pretty fun.
Mm.
Um, I think that they let you do fours, but they don't let you do fives. Or for fives, you have to be certified or something like that.
Really, I think.
Or do they just let you?
I wonder if it depends on like the state codes. It
Oh, it
definitely
probably
seems
would. It probably would depend on the
because
state.
I've been on four. I
Hmm.
don't want to say I've been on a five, but in a way, I do want to say I've been on a five. I'm not
Those
too sure. Maybe I think I would have remembered if it was, but I've definitely done a four.
because it's just like the skiing. Like the greens are real fun, real well bunny slopes real fun, real easy. And then there's the greens and then blues. Blues are so much different than greens. And
Mm.
then blues to blacks are just crazy different. You're like literally falling on a black and I don't understand how you even learn like that. Like there's no you like some blues you feel like you're falling on and then you see people doing blacks and you're like they're literally just falling right now.
Yeah, it's. I think the one that I did the most, I was in California doing it, and that was pretty intense. And like that was most people's first time. It was my like third time doing it. Um, but those are interesting. If you're with a good like canoe, it's it can be pretty fun.
Hmm.
Used to saw a drug deal go down during the middle of mine. North Cali is like
North Cali.
there's just a bunch of mountains there, and like all of a sudden, because we're in like a long like stretch, and it's really slow, and all of a sudden we see a car pull up, another car pull up, two guys get out, they like shake each other's hand and just walk back to the car and drive off. And we're like, oh, hmm,
Hmm.
cool.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, okay. But if you have to have a good like good raft, did you have a good raft with the people you were?
No, I was so when I did it I
Oh,
was
not you.
I was pretty young and I don't know, the older scouts just kind of like they knew that they could get away with making the younger kids be together and they knew that they could group the kids that they didn't want to be with
Yeah.
all together. So naturally I ended up with pretty much everyone no one wanted to be with. And so I didn't want to be with them and I don't think that they wanted to be with me. And naturally everyone's just like so pinned against each other, so if you said just one thing the wrong way, just everyone would just go off on you or something like that. The emotions in the raft were so fragile that day, as I remember.
Dude, that's what Scouts was like, though. That's the thing, is like you found your group of like 4 or 5 people, and like you just stuck with them. At least that's how mine was. Because I wasn't. We talked about this, I think, one
Mhm.
time. Of like we were both in smaller ones, but once I found like 5 or 6 people, like I just stuck with them, and like those are the people that you tented with. Or did
Yeah.
you get to choose who you tented with?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And what actually, when you first get in scouts, it's kind of fun because I don't know, like a buddy of yours will drag you in or something like that, and so you'll have them. But then you kind of become a part of the community a little bit, and then once you like are one of the oldest scouts, you kind of just get to do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Especially in
Like
the smaller ones because you're just
yeah,
like you're the old guy.
because I mean you're like the leader or something like that, and so you're friends with like the SPL, and if you don't want to do the line cleaning, or if you don't want to have to wash dishes every night, or if you don't if you really just don't want to have to hang the spare bag or something like that, and you can absolutely get away with it because you know what, you're an older scout and you run the troop.
It's just how it worked, honestly. Like they act like there was like massive political drama and like the SPL did everything. Nah. No. No. They just told others to do everything else.
Delegation, the key to being an SPL. Delegation.
My troop eventually got so small. I think I told you this, but like we had an SPL, which is like the head of the troop for the people that don't know, and then ASPLs are like assistants under them, and there's only supposed to be two, but we had three, and it was the SPL that the former SPL stepped down. It was the ASPL, so he like did not care. After he's like, why am I even here? Why am I even doing this? So he never did anything. But then we had two others, which was like camping ASPL. So like he solely focused on like our camping events, but we never camped towards the end of our like scouting because my troops it's about to disappear. There's no one left in it, right? So we don't go camping that much anymore. So they don't do anything, and they just delegate everything to the event ASPL that we had. But we never had events, and if we did, honestly, most of the adults ran it, or like we would just delegate to someone else to be like, oh yeah, can you like bring this, and that's it. So there was really no leadership in our troop at all, and everything just evaporated. And it was always great to watch because it was really whoever was like the most popular got like the most say in anything. That's just how it worked. And if
Ah,
you were not liked, you had no say.
it was like a little subgroup of like school people, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It was like the same social structure and everything. You'd have like your cool kids, and you'd have the it's hard to, don't laugh when you hear it, but you did have the cool kids and Boy Scouts, and then you had the weird kids naturally, which I mean, it just happens. And
You have the awkward in betweens.
yeah, you have the awkward in
Okay.
betweens.
Because the stereotype is like generally there's the people that are forced to be there, and then there's the people that like genuinely want to be there, and then there's the people that are like, I don't, I'm just taking the shortest route to Eagle Scout. And like
Yeah,
those are the
people
three.
who are only doing it. I think that the people who are forced are only doing it for the Eagle. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm not even gonna front. I was only doing it for the Eagle for a large part of my time, but or like originally I didn't get in for that, but I think that helped me stay in, I guess, because I'd already dedicated so much time. But definitely, yeah, definitely, it did seem like, and that's what kind of bummed me out a little too, was a lot of people didn't want to be there, and I think that kind of ruined the atmosphere a little bit.
And I think it's definitely apparent that like a lot of them didn't want to be there, and like they were forced to be in there because a
Mhm.
lot of them just like as soon as they got there, they're like, when am I going home?
Oh, or like summer camp. Summer camp would be like the worst for people wanting to go home. You'd have like your really young new scouts who just crossed over, and then you'd have like your really older scouts, and they were just clashing the entire time. The older scouts didn't want to have to put up with the new scouts that just crossed over because they were being little brats. But that's what scouting is. You have to deal with them.
You forget they're fifth graders, and you realize how much of like a difference it is from like a fifth grade to like sixth grade to eighth grade to ninth grade, and ninth grade to like senior year. There was so, and so like a senior in high school and a fifth grader together, holy crap. The like the dynamic between them, and I now understand like whenever I was coming in why the seniors acted the way they did. Like they couldn't care less about us, the fifth graders at all.
That was just the thing though. Because when I was a fifth grader, looking back at it now, on my first camp out, that's when I really started to like socialize and like get to know everyone. But on that first camp out, it got really real really quick. It just became so apparent like, dang, I'm pretty scared, like this kid is a senior in high school and he has facial hair and I'm 11 years old.
Did you ever have to do wilderness survival?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so for people that don't know, that's like, I'm assuming this is what it was for you, but you had to build your own shelter.
Yeah, yeah. It was during a summer camp, and
Okay.
so it was they were doing so for the summer camp they had it was that they had the entire week and they'd have classes. It was set up pretty much like college, where you just
It's
rotate
true.
classes like that. But for that summer camp, and so on the last day you were going to go out into the woods and leave your canvas tent behind to bring your sleeping bag and a pillow, nothing else, and you were going to go build yourself a little shelter. And and it was like going to be dark outside and you had to do it with a flashlight. And I don't know, there were a number of structures that they pointed out to us throughout the week, and so when it was time to do it, you knew what to do. And I don't know, it probably only took me 30 minutes to do it, which was probably the cool part about it. So now when I'm, out doing my thing in the middle of the woods and I get, trapped somewhere or lost, hey,
Yeah.
gonna know what to do.
Okay, my wilderness survival was the first camp that all scouts and our troop were supposed to go on.
Oh no.
Uh-huh. So like
That's terrible.
you get in during like January because the crossover is December to January, right?
Mhm.
So you get in January and then like February is hits and then you're like, oh, you're in wilderness survival, and that's where they give you your like wilderness chip and your fireman's chip and all that. And that's your first thing is building like a camp. Oh, I did not like wilderness survival. Once I got that merit badge, I did not like that because I made it and it was horrible. First of all, the guy I went with, um, him and we blew up our mattress with
No.
just our mouths.
No.
It took 4 hours, man.
You must have had the worst headache ever.
That was horrible, dude. But then we made chili, right?
Oh,
And I clogged the owner's drains because I dumped all the leftover chili in the drain.
no.
Yeah. And then so the next 2 years later, I'm like, okay, I'll go on survival, right? I'll go. You've convinced me. I'm gonna go.
Naturally.
I go on it, right? I was so mad, right? First of all, so like they make all their tents, and I was just gonna find someone to stay with, and I was just gonna go in there. And I didn't help make them because all the younger scouts were making them, so I was just gonna be like, sweet, I'm gonna hang out with you tonight, right? That's just sort of how I did it. But it rained, so they canceled that, right? So we had to go set up tents like in an emergency, and everyone was like setting up tents quickly, but I didn't have enough tents, so I was stuck with like two other guys, right, in this small like barely 2-person tent. And all my clothes were like on the edge of the tent. It starts downpouring, right? All my clothes get like soaked wet. It's 40 degrees outside. In the tent, and to top it off a little bit, it was daylight savings. So there was an extra hour to the night. So
Oh my god.
that was the worst night I've had. It's up there in the top 3 worst nights I've had.
Top 3 worst nights. My top 3 worst nights was probably winter camp when it got below 40 degrees and I had a summer sleeping bag, and I didn't. I wasn't prepared at all, and I didn't bring a sleeping pad, so I was
Nice.
on the cold ground in a summer sleeping bag for something that was supposed to be made for 70, 70, 60 degrees, and it was like 32 degrees or 30 degrees.
Mm.
But my wilderness survival was nothing like yours. I had it pretty easy. I had a 1 week course over everything I needed to know, and it actually even rained the night that I did it. But
Mm.
I built it so well with so many leaves and branches that it was actually pretty waterproof.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah,
Got the job done. I see it. I see you. I see you.
the job done. What
Got
can
the
I
job.
say?
Got the job done. Summer camps are always because you always came back with such like interesting stories. Because it's not like a church camp. Because church camp, you have a distinct personality, right?
Yeah,
Scout camps, it's just 300 guys in like a 4 mile block.
it gets pretty crazy, especially during those feeding times.
Mm.
Oh,
Ooh. Oh boy, it's yeah, it's always those are always fun, and those are always the stories are always pretty great. But yeah, so we hit our time today, I think, and I think we had a pretty good episode.
that was a pretty good episode
Pretty last minute. You get to hear Blake.
on that.
You know,
We can
just
cut that.
being authentic.
We can cut that.
We can. Will I? I don't know. Depends on how lazy I am. Um,
He's not going to cut it. You never cut it.
okay. Blake, do you have any final words?
Yeah, don't forget that we're going to be churning them out every Friday from now on. So just enjoy it. We're going to make a bunch of Instagram posts. Don't forget to go like and subscribe on our YouTube, and just, give it some love and affection. Just reel it in. Absolutely.
Shower it with all your attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed and stick around with us. Yeah.